Hello everyone, welcome to FineReport tutorial lesson 12 on data entry. So as we know, data entry is one of the functions that we use a lot during our daily work. So today we're going to introduce you about the features of data entry in FineReport. So basically, we're using data entry to change our database data to report. Open the report. Very first step, we're going to create our data set. So in today's lesson, we will use employee, this data table, as our example. So select all from employee. So as we expanding DS1, our employee table, you can see different data columns under it, such as employee ID, employee name, sex, and birthday. So next, we're going to enter in different titles for different data columns. And the next, we're going to drag different data columns to the corresponding cells. So this whole step is just to design our report. So while we're doing the first step of report designing, let me introduce you about the basic idea for data entry. So after the done setup for the report, we're going to set up for the data entry section in FineReport. So after that part is done, we're going to hit the data entry preview to display our final report, which is the employee data collection, the table we're just making right now. So from the report, we want to directly adding, deleting different informations such as ID, name, birthday for different employees. And also we want to be able to store the new changing data to the corresponding database. So that's the basic idea for data entry. So in the beginning, as I said, we have to drag different data columns on the DS1, such as employee ID, employee name, to the corresponding cells in our designer. So you don't actually have to do that. For this step, we just want to reach the function to show the existing data. So since today we're just making a new report for the data entry, we don't have to show the existing data, so you don't have to drag the corresponding data. So finally, we're going to give the frame to the main body for our report. And by now we're done the setup for the report design. So next, we're going to move on to the right-hand pane for the option. We have the widget setting. So in here, we're going to start our data entry setup. So as you can see, we have different widget style, text, numbers, password. So in here, we're going to insert different widgets to the corresponding cells in order to be able to editing our data in the final display page. So in here, we're going to select text widget for ID and the name. And also for gender, we're going to use a special widget style, which is our ratio group. And also you can see the final result in the display. So for the data dictionary, we're going to custom our ratio group. As we know, from gender, we have two data, female and male. And we want to change our display value for the corresponding actual value, female to F and male to M. So in this way, you only have to select between F and M for this data entry part. Next, we're going to keep continuing adding different widget, date for birthday, and also we're gonna do text for phone. And for the input rule, we can change the rule to phone number. So in this way, when you do the data entry, the only correct number you can enter is the style for phone number, and also the same reason for zip code, just to the passcode for the input row. So right now we're saving this new template, name it data entry. So by far we already done the setup for the report design, and also we done the first step for data entry setup, which is inserting different widget. So by inserting different widget, we're able to directly add, delete different data through the final display from this report. So the next step for the data entry setting is to find a location to store our new data. So now let's move on to the second step for the data entry setup. Besides file, click on template. On this, we'll have the option for data entry attribute. So go ahead and click that. On the submit, we're going to click the plus button to add a built-in circle one. And also the submit type, we're going to choose smart submit by default. So the idea is to find our database, also find our data table, which is employee. And from the employee table, we're going to select the different data columns and also binding the different data columns to the corresponding sales. So right now we're selecting the corresponding data table employee. Next, hit on the Smart Add Fields. From this page, as you can see, we have every field, every data column list under the data table employee. So we'll have to select the corresponding data column that we need to use for this report design. All right. So next, we're gonna head on the Smart Add Cells to binding the data. For employee ID, we're gonna choose C2 to bind the data. And then one by one, we're gonna go ahead and click different cells to binding all the fields that we selected. All right, so the very last step is to select our primary key, which is employee ID. So right now, we're gonna hit on the data entry preview to test our final result. All right, so as you can see, we already have the employee data collection, this report showing on the display. And also, we can directly do the data entry here since we choose the data entry preview. For the ID and name, we choose the text widget style, so we can do the different inputs. For the gender, we have two options, F and M. For the birthday, we'll have the date for the widget style. And last, we'll have the text widget style for both phone and the zip code on the different rules. All right, so that's going to be the data entry. Hit on the data violation. Next, we're going to submit the data. So by far, we already successfully submit the data. So that's the whole process for data entry. The data will automatically saved to the corresponding data table, which is employee. So that's going to be everything for data entry. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to see you next time.